The grind that's killing you isn't making you successful. Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I am your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that completely shifted how I think about success, rest, and what it means to build a life and career that doesn't require you to sacrifice your peace. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Davetta Harris, a visionary leader who is transforming the way Black professionals and entrepreneurs understand ambition, power, and sustainability. Davetta is not just talking about change, she is creating it, helping Black women step into what she calls their soft era, not as a reward they earn after grinding themselves into the ground, but as a strategic starting point for how they build their careers and businesses from day one. Her work is reshaping the narrative around rest, boundaries, and success, and her impact is making the world a better place by giving Black women permission to thrive without self destruction. And that insight alone, the softness, is not something you get to after you've hustled hard enough, but something you lead with is about to change everything you thought you knew about ambition, success, and power. So here's what I want you to sit with for the next few minutes. What if everything we've been taught about success, especially as Black women, is backwards? What if the grind, the hustle, the sleepless nights, or the overextending, the saying yes when your body is screaming no? What if all of that isn't the path to power, but the thing that's been keeping us from it? Let me say that again. What if softness, rest, boundaries, emotional safety, what if those things aren't luxuries you earn after you've made it, but the very foundation you need to build something that lasts? Now, I know some of you are already pushing back. I can feel it. You're thinking, LeAnne, I don't have time to be soft. I've got bills to pay. I've got a business to build. I've got people depending on me. I've got to prove myself. I've got to show up twice as hard just to be seen as half as good. And I hear you. I see you because I've been you. But what Davetta Harris shared with me and what I'm about to share with you is that softness is not about slowing down your ambition. It's about expanding your power. Because when you lead with clarity, when you lead with emotional regulation, when you lead with a nervous system that isn't constantly in fight or flight, you make sharper decisions. You build healthier teams. You create more sustainable wealth. And you stop burning out before you even get to enjoy what you've built. So let's talk about what this actually looks like in practice. Let's talk about real organizations, real leaders, real Black women who have built powerful, impactful, sustainable work by centering softness as strategy. The first story I want to share with you is about Dr. Lakeisha C. Harris and the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, also known as PSAB. Now, PSAB is a long standing anti racist training and organizing collective based in New Orleans, and they've been doing this work for over 40 years. 40 years. Let that sink in. In a world where most organizations, especially those doing emotionally heavy social justice work, burn out within a few years, PSAB has been going strong for 4 decades. And Dr. Lakeisha Harris, as co executive director, has been leading this work not from a place of martyrdom, not from a place of self sacrifice, but from a place of healing, collective care, and intentional softness. Here's what makes PSAB different: they didn't just train people on how to dismantle racism intellectually, they recognize that dismantling racism requires addressing the internalized harm, the trauma, the emotional labor that people carry in their bodies and their communities. So they built healing, justice, and wellness practices directly into their organizing work. They prioritized emotional processing, community care, and restoration as part of the organization's culture. They emphasize collective leadership and shared responsibility rather than expecting one strong Black woman to carry everything. And they design their programs and trainings to intentionally create space to slow down, reflect, and heal as part of the anti racism process. Think about that for a moment. In the middle of urgent, life or death racial justice work, they chose to slow down. They chose to create space for healing. They chose to prioritize the wellness of their staff and participants. And the result? PISAB has become a global leader in anti racism training, serving individuals, nonprofits, health systems, and government agencies. Their longevity and impact demonstrate that when you include healing, reflection, and emotional safety in your work, you can sustain high impact work over decades rather than burning people out. Dr. Harris's leadership reflects a model where Black women can lead movements from a place of wholeness and softness, not martyrdom. And that is revolutionary. Now let's talk about the Loveland Foundation, founded by Rachel Cargill. The Loveland Foundation provides therapy support for Black women and girls through their Loveland Therapy Fund. And here's what's so powerful about this: Rachel Cargill didn't wait until Black women and girls were in crisis to offer support. She framed therapy and mental health not as a last resort, but as a proactive tool for healing, rest, and emotional softness. She openly named the need for Black women to be cared for and supported, not because they're broken, but because they're human, because they deserve care, because they deserve rest, because they deserve softness. And the impact has been massive. The Loveland Foundation has funded thousands of hours of therapy for Black women and girls across the United States. They've helped normalize conversations around mental health, softness, and emotional care in Black communities, especially among high achieving Black women who have been socialized to be strong, to push through, to never ask for help. And they've demonstrated that positioning softness and mental wellness as central, not optional, can generate national support, fundraising, and long term organizational growth. Rachel Cargill turned a personal act of care into structured, ongoing mental health support for Black women and girls. And Loveland has grown into a recognized nonprofit guided by the belief that Black women deserve to rest, heal, and receive care without apology or delay. For Black entrepreneurs and professionals, Loveland stands as a model of a mission driven organization built entirely around softness as strategy, declaring that healing and emotional rest are worthy of structured, funded, and scalable solutions. This is not a side project. This is not an afterthought. This is the core of the work, and it's working. And then there's Walker's Legacy, founded by Natalie Madeira Cofield. Walker's Legacy is a digital platform and professional collective that equips Black women entrepreneurs and professionals with business education, mentorship, and community. And what makes Walker's Legacy so powerful is that they didn't just teach Black women how to hustle harder, they created training programs, accelerators, and cohorts that combine business education with community and mentorship. They emphasize the power of networks, peer support, and collaborative growth. So women aren't building alone and can share strategies for boundary setting, time management, and sustainable business practices. They highlighted stories and models of Black women who build successful businesses while prioritizing balance, mental health, and flexible definitions of success. And the result? Walker's Legacy has grown into a national and international network serving thousands of women of color with entrepreneurship and professional programs. Their alumni and members have gone on to launch and scale businesses, secure capital, and expand their professional influence, supported by a community that recognizes their full humanity, not just their output. The organization shows that community, mentorship, and strategic support can reduce the pressure of grind culture and allow Black women to achieve more sustainable business growth. So here's what I want you to take away from these three stories. Softness is a strategy, not a weakness. Your soft era can be a business model. You are allowed to design offers, timelines, and work cultures that honor your mental health, boundaries, and emotional well being. And that choice can increase your creativity, leadership capacity, and earning potential. You are allowed to build success at a sustainable pace. The grind at all costs narrative has pushed many Black professionals into burnout, health issues, and stagnation. Rest, delegation, and saying no to misaligned opportunities are professional tools, not signs of laziness. Sustainable pace is a competitive advantage, and your softness has community level impact. When you lead your business or career from a soft, regulated place, with fair pay, humane expectations, and emotional intelligence, you shift the culture for your team, clients, and family. You're not just changing your schedule, you're modeling a new standard of Black leadership that doesn't require self sacrifice as the price of success. Now, I know some of you are still sitting with resistance. You're thinking, but LeAnne, I can't afford to be soft. I can't afford to rest. I can't afford to say no. And I want to gently challenge that, because what you can't afford is to keep running yourself into the ground. What you can't afford is to build a business or a career that requires you to abandon your well being. What you can't afford is to keep saying yes to things that drain you, deplete you, and leave you with nothing left for yourself or the people you love. Davetta Harris reminded me that softness is not about slowing down your ambition. It's about expanding your power. And when I think about the leaders I just shared with you, Dr. Lakeisha Harris, Rachel Cargill, Natalie Madeira Cofield, these are not women who have small dreams or small impact. These are women who are changing the world. And they're doing it from a place of softness, healing, and intentional care. Because here's the truth, sis. You are not here to survive. You are here to thrive. You are not here to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are here to build something beautiful, something sustainable, something that honors your full humanity. And that starts with softness. So here's what I'm asking you to do right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I want you to identify one area of your business or career where you are currently overextending. Maybe it's your work hours, maybe it's client expectations, maybe it's unpaid labor, maybe it's emotional labor. And I want you to choose one specific shift. Maybe it's implementing office hours, maybe it's taking a real rest day, maybe it's delegating a task, maybe it's raising a boundary with a client or employer. And I want you to commit right now to a date and time to implement it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Tell someone you trust. Make it real. Make it concrete. Make it non negotiable. And then I want you to reflect on how that single act of softness could improve not just your mood, but your decision making, your creativity, and your long term success. Because that's what softness does. It doesn't make you weaker, it makes you wiser, it makes you more powerful, it makes you unstoppable. This is your invitation. This is your permission. This is your revolution. Step into your soft era, not as a retreat, but as the most strategic, powerful, transformative move you will ever make. Because softness is not weakness, softness is power. And you, my love, are allowed to be soft.